Well, hello everyone in Art 282 Online. This is a week 4 update on what's going to be coming up, including your review for exam 1 and the exam itself. Okay, well, if you've looked at your calendar lately, and I'm really hoping they have, you would see that today there's a date marked on the calendar, an event marked, I should say, review for exam 1 available. So this is the beginning of a time when there will be a module available in the modules area to help you review for the exam. And that is available until the exam opens, and the exam is open next week, Wednesday and Thursday, the 21st and the 22nd, and that is also marked on the calendar. So this 2-day period is the time when you have available to take the exam next week. You can take the exam anytime the ILC Testing Center in Building 1 is open, and that is between 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. That's why it opens at 7:30 on Wednesday and closes at 8 p.m. the next day. Now, keep in mind, if you have it set up to proctor at another site, you may have different hours, so you need to follow what those hours are and let me know if there are any issues. So let's talk a little bit about the exam. Well, first of all, note that you still have that module on orientation on the modules page that you can review to kind of check out what are exams like, because there's a lot of good information there. So let's scroll down to the bottom and find that module. There we go, orientation. And everything is still there, including the section on quizzes or exams, okay? So I know this is there for you, but there's a few things I want to point out, but you can review this on your own at another time. So just a reminder that our exams are not open books or open notes. You'll have 60 minutes to take them, and they combine several types of questions: multiple choice, short essay, which would be like a couple sentences, matching, and then you will have one long essay question. And it does say the long essay will be about your choice of 2 images that I give you ahead of time to review, and that will be in the review that we'll look at shortly. So we do use a lockdown browser to prevent cheating. So like I say here, if you have arranged to have your proctoring happen on another campus, you need to let me know so we can make sure that they have the proper software installed. So speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about maybe not studying, just let's talk about proctored exams. Now, some of you I know have taken online classes with me and you're familiar with this. You may not have, however. So I assume that most of you will be taking this at the ILC Testing Center at the Quad Cities campus, excuse me. But if you're not, that's okay, but that needs to be set up. Hopefully it's already set up by this time. So there is on the next page a note about taking exams at other exam sites. Lets you know what to do if you're closer to East Campus, and then also if you live outside the district altogether. It is imperative that if you live far away and you don't want to travel and you're not sure of who your proctor should be, that you start looking, and those are colleges and universities and testing centers. And if you absolutely can't find anything, it is not my responsibility. It's really on you, and then hopefully finding some help with the testing center if you absolutely can't find something. I do not waive proctoring for exams. Just do not do it. Now, I haven't heard from anybody about having any trouble finding a proctor, and since I did ask everyone to do this early on, I'm hoping that that has happened. Okay. In fact, it asks you to set up one during the first 2 weeks of school, so I'm hoping that really happened. Now let's go back a minute and talk about studying for the exam. And again, I do encourage you, before you take off to go take your exam, you just review that taking a proctored exam to remind you that you need your ID and everything like that. All right, so studying for an exam, just a couple points here. You can read this again on your own, and I expect you to do so. Notes that there are different kinds of questions, what those questions are like, including that short essays are 1 to 3 sentences. Okay, so if I give you a short essay with a text box and there's like a 2-word answer, it's probably not going to get a very good grade because I'm asking you here for 1 to 3 sentences. It does tell you that what we're looking for on the exam are your knowledge of the concept, the historical event, the technique or issue that you're studying, not the title and artwork or date. I mean, there are times when you have to memorize some things, right? But I don't simply show you an image and ask you to tell me everything that you can about it. Well, I do for one question, which you'll know about shortly, but instead I'm asking about the concepts that we learned in the lectures and in the textbook. There will be one matching vocabulary section, and that is, you'll see in the reviews, there's a section called vocab, and that is where I'll draw from for that vocab matching section. And then there is the essay portion. Let me move this. So there will be lots of kinds of questions, but there will also be one longer form essay. And this really needs to be at least a couple of paragraphs answer, although I don't like to give a word count simply because it just should take as many words as it takes, okay? I usually, when I get the essays back, there's some that are short that get great grades, and there's some that are long that get great grades, and then there are some that are both short and long that don't get good grades, right? So making sure that you answer all of the questions and all of the points that are asked for in the essay question is what's important, and however you do that is up to you. Now, when I say this long form essay, what I'm talking about is telling me the answers to questions about one particular image, either essay image 1 or essay image 2. And each exam will have a choice of essay image 1 or 2, and those are given to you in advance. So what you do with that is you choose one of those images to know basically everything that you can know from the textbook and lecture about it. You don't have to go and do extra studying on Wikipedia or Web Gallery of Art or anything. Just draw from the lectures and the textbook so that you are able to answer the questions that I'm going to be giving to you. Okay? So when you do take the exam, you will only be answering one of those two questions. Okay? And I just want to reiterate, really, these exams do require studying. I know there are going to be a lot of you who are very smart people and who like art and think, well, you know, I don't really need to study. I don't need to study most of the time for my exams. Well, I've got news for you. You're probably going to need to study for this one. It's just my experience teaching this class for quite a long time, okay? And do yourself a favor. Not only use the reviews to study, but go back and review the lectures, especially those of you, and there are some of you who wait until Sunday to do your homework. That's not enough time to absorb the information, one day of reviewing the information. And so when it comes time to take the exam, you're not going to remember any of that. It's not going to mean anything to you. So not only use the reviews to study, but go back and review the lectures for each of the units that are on the exam. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's go to modules. Now, for our first exam, it's going to be over the first 4 units, right? And exam 2 will be over units 5 through 8 and so on. So we very regularly have an exam every 4 units, and that exam covers those previous 4 units. So very consistent. So after each 4 units or weeks, you see that there's usually a review. There is always a review for that exam that's coming up. And so we've got reviews that are in the form basically of web pages, and some of them have bullet points and some of them have little paragraphs basically telling you these are either where to look for information or the kinds of information that I'm going to be looking for. So you can see right away that you're going to need to understand and review the functions and limitations of guilds. The functions of Orson Michaela is a good example. Review and understand the features and functions of panel paintings, characteristics of their style, what a maestà is, all that sort of stuff, right? And then you notice too that there are images. So in addition to this sort of text on the left, you have images on the right. Now those images, oops, better fix that one. Those images will be used in the exams to help you answer questions. So I'll show you an image and ask you a question that's related to the image. Okay, so when you study, using these images that are in the review to study will be very helpful. I won't just pull images from wherever and stick them in the exam. These are the images I will use. That will help you a lot because we're very visual people in general, so we connect that information to the images. When we see those images, it'll help us to remember them more easily. Okay? So do use those images when you study. And then here's some vocab. This is the kind of stuff that's going to end up in that matching section. So be sure you know those. These are almost always things that we've covered in the lecture, but occasionally they're things that are in your textbook. Be sure you know those. So here's some more. And so anyway, there are 4 of these, right? So that is available now for you to review, right? And then Hopefully you'll be all prepared. More vocab. Oh, wait, let's look and see where those images are, those essay images. Now, how are you to know which are the two essay images to choose from? Well, they're going to be noted underneath the picture. So I don't see any here. Let's see. Let's go back to the first one and review. We've got Dottie, Buoninsegna, Pucelle, Giotto, Pietà. Where's our images? Ah, there's one. Look, we have the Marotta Altarpiece by Robert Campan, and it says Essay Image 1 right underneath it. So we know that's going to be one of our two choices. All right, so where's essay image number 2? We have to look and see. Essay image number 2. Ah, there it is. That makes sense. These are both two pretty important artworks, right? Also, Holy Trinity in addition to the Marotta Altarpiece. So you have your choice of those two to study, be an expert in, at least with regard to what's in your lecture and textbook. And then you'll be able to answer that essay question pretty easily using as much art history vocab and information as you can. All right, well, that's all I have for you right now. Just a little review of what you need to be thinking about for the exam. Please start studying as soon as you can. And if you encounter any troubles, let me know through the inbox.